Welcome back to another Film Geek movie review. Today, after the day job, I'm going to be heading out to check out the final film in the new Halloween trilogy, Halloween Ends. This is the retconned Halloween movies that start after the first John Carpenter film. And so far, I've enjoyed every single one of them. The first film, of course, is my favorite. The second one, though not as good as the first one, I still enjoyed that movie. I know it was a little divisive amongst fans, but I really enjoyed it. Okay, sorry. I'm a Michael Myers nut. I'm a junkie. I'm a little biased on the whole thing. Hell, I got the Halloween shirt on right here. You can't see it, but I'm wearing Halloween 5. Yes, Halloween 5 socks specifically. Now, yes, I enjoy the franchise. It is not my favorite franchise, however. It is, honestly, the Halloween franchise itself as a whole thing, I'm actually not a whole big fan of. And I know everyone's going to start saying Halloween 3. No, I absolutely love Halloween 3. The thing I don't like about the original Halloween franchise is it's so discombobulated. It's all over the goddamn place. I mean, this franchise, this is the second retcon this franchise has gotten. I did not like the whole Michael Myers going into a cult slasher area. I always liked him as just like this unstoppable human force, or just a force of nature. It didn't need like anything supernatural attached to it. Just the fact that he was this unstoppable force with no real face. I loved it. Okay, so back to Halloween Ends. We're going to be going and checking this film out. Of course, Jamie Lee Curtis is back as good old Laurie Strode, and James Jude Courtney, a big fan of James Jude Courtney, by the way. We have his signature right here on this Blu-ray, the first Halloween 2018. Charming Amy and I had the privilege and honor of meeting him at Crypticon back in 2019. And let me tell you guys, gem of a human being. In fact, the reason Charming Amy has the nickname Charming Amy is because he gave it to her. That Blu-ray back there is signed to Charming Amy from James Jude Courtney. Okay, enough of me yammering on about how much I love the new Michael Myers guy. It's time for us to hit the road, go to the day job, and then I'm off to see Halloween Ends. Okay guys, just getting home, and the first thing I'd like to say about this film is, don't worry, Busta Rhymes does not show up to Kung Fu fight Michael Myers. However, I would have welcomed that. I would have been totally okay if all of a sudden at some point in this movie, a door flings open, there's Busta Rhymes, and he's like, Michael Myers, your ass is mine. And then we get to see that fight again. But no, no, that's not what we got at all. We didn't even get a Halloween movie. We got a muddled mess of so many different things, it's not even funny. This film has absolutely no idea what it wants to be. Okay, there are things about this movie that I do like, and I'm not I'm going to try really hard not to completely destroy this movie. I do have positive things I want to say about this, and we'll get to it in the end. But let's get started right now with the negatives and the first things that bother me. Now, this film does not. This is probably the least kills in any Halloween film that I can think of. There's really not a lot in this movie. And that doesn't really matter, honestly, because there's some slashers out there that are freaking amazing and the kill count is very low. Hell, Candyman. Candyman has 3 kills, but that movie is outstanding and scary as hell. This movie, people die, but it's not very scary. There's a really good jump scare at the very beginning of the movie, and it has really nothing to do with anybody in the movie. It's not really a jump scare. It's a fake out jump scare, and it's better than anything else in the movie. The tone, like I said, the tone of this film is all over the place. And another way to explain this movie is, it's like watching an anthology film. The very beginning of the movie, I'm digging it. I'm like, ooh, that's different. I like where this is going. This is weird. I'm not sure what this has to do with Michael Myers or, Halloween or Laurie or anything, but I like where this is going. And then it's all of a sudden like, oh, damn! And that scenario's over. So story 1, over. Okay? Then you move on to story 2. You're in story 2 for quite some time. And then finally story 3. Now, in the trailer to this film, you are told that you are going to get this epic showdown. Or, at least it implies. It implies that you're going to get this epic showdown between Laurie and Michael Myers. And it's going to be the fight of the century. The greatest slasher who ever lived. The one who started the genre. And the world's greatest final girl are going to duke it out in a one-time event. Yeah! You are going to pay for the whole seat, but you're only going to use the edge. Yeah, it's not this movie at all. This movie doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't build any tension. There's nothing. Alright, now the kills. The kills, despite the fact there's not a lot of them, there's a couple of them that are pretty decent. But this is a thing that bothers me. I was not emotionally invested in any of the characters in this movie. I didn't care. Like, when people died, it was like, I was only concerned with seeing something cool. And then you're like, okay, asshole, you're gone. And that was it. Like, let me give you an example. And this is a personal favorite of mine, so you might not feel the same way. In the Friday the 13th series, Friday the 13th 4, the final chapter, in my opinion, is the best group of teenagers in that entire film. Actually, they're like college students, I believe. But anyways, I love those guys. They're great. You kind of get to feel and understand each and every one of those characters, and you like them. Or maybe you don't completely like them, but you don't really want to see them killed. You're rooting for them to get away. In this movie, you're just like, yeah, fuck it, kill them. Whatever, I don't give a shit about this person. And then move on. It doesn't build to anything. It just feels like 3 separate films. And then finally, at the very end of the movie, you're given the film you're offered. But by that point, you've checked out completely. Okay. Now. The story in this movie, like I keep telling you, it's like divided up into 3. And that's very true. When you see this movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. Now, I don't want to give out any spoilers, and that's what's making this very difficult, because some of the things I can't stand in this film would spoil the entire experience for you. So I can't tell you what I really dislike about this movie. So I am just going to move on and get away from that. Let's just say that the story in this film is not what you think it is. Plain and simple. Okay, the positives. First up, it really looks good. The people who filmed this movie really brought it out. It looks great. It is filmed beautifully. I love the shots in this film. I really got a big Carpenter vibe from the aesthetics of this film. Not anything else, but it definitely had the aesthetics of a John Carpenter movie. And that's great, but the unfortunate thing is it feels like they spent way more time on making this look like a Carpenter film. They didn't make it feel like a Carpenter film. It was almost like they thought, well, if we make it look close enough to the real thing, they're gonna love it. Okay, so I threw a negative in with a positive. My bad. It was a compliment sandwich, and I didn't realize I was doing it. Okay, on to more positives. The acting is outstanding. Every one of the actors delivers, and honestly, I really liked where Jamie Lee Curtis's character went through this whole thing. You know, I know there's been some fan division on how her character has been portrayed in these new movies, but let me just start off from the beginning. I dug the whole Sarah Connor survivalist thing. You know, it kind of gave a different vibe. Now, because if you go back to like the first retcon, which would have been Halloween H2O, Laurie has dealt with her trauma. She's gone through counseling. She's trying to move beyond. She's trying to have this, move to this new job. She's getting away from things. She's moving on with her life. Now, in the newer 2018 version, Laurie does not deal with her trauma. She just builds upon it basically and puts herself into a fortress, and it's totally, like I said, Sarah Connor's the whole thing, trains her daughter in survival skills and things of that sort. And I liked that. Then in the second film, she gets totally sidelined. Like, you barely get any Laurie in that film. And I mean, that's okay. That movie, I felt like, was good old filler, and it did a great job of being a in the middle movie. Now this one, we get more Laurie. Now in this movie, she is portrayed different, and she's grown more as a character. She's moving on with her life, and she's more like the Laurie from H2O, and I like that. So I really like where Jamie Lee Curtis went with her character and her character's characterizations and everything of that sort. Excellent work. Some of the best work I've seen out of Jamie Lee Curtis in a long time was in this film. Really enjoyed it. A lot of the supporting cast was great. Everyone played their part excellently. I got nothing to say bad about that. Another thing that was fixed in this film is the dialogue. The second one especially had it was so cheesy. It was cheesy. The dialogue in the second film was cheesy. It didn't bother me too much, but it was very cheesy. I mean, the whole thing, evil dies tonight. Evil dies tonight. And then you might get one of these. Evil's gonna die tonight. I mean, my God. But this film, the dialogue was really it was more mainstream. It felt more natural. I really enjoyed it. Okay, guys, so that's all I got for Halloween Ends, and now it's the time to put a big grade on it. And you know what, guys? This film is a D. Solid D. On the way home, I was convinced this film was an F, but because there were things I liked about the film, I had to give it a little bit more. But because this is such a letdown, and I honestly truly believe that a lot of fans of this franchise are going to feel the same way I do, this was a big disappointment, and I think a lot of fans are going to really dislike this movie. That's just my theory. Hey, I could be wrong. It's just an opinion. And you know what they say about opinions. Okay, so that's all I got for you guys. Halloween Ends. And you know what? I believe it's on Peacock. So if you got Peacock, you know what? Check this film out. If you don't, I'm not saying, don't go, it's not a good theater film. It doesn't matter. Just, if you really are curious and you want to see this, I do believe Peacock is like $5.99 a month, okay? Pay for 1 month. That's less than a damn theater ticket. And if you don't like Peacock, get rid of the damn thing the following month. Hell, you might get a free freaking membership to it. Who knows? So that's all I got for you guys. This is a streaming VOD level film, and that's all I got to say about it. Okay, guys, well, that's all I have. Thanks for checking out the Film Geek. If you liked what you saw here today, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for notifications, and give me the old thumbs up so I know you like what you're seeing. And if there's one more thing you could do, folks, that is keep watching movies. You know I'm gonna.